Hey, what's going on? PernellBobby's back. You're here because you want to know about the mission that the twin flames have, okay? So whether you believe in twin flames or not, I want to kind of debunk some of the myths, some of the hearsay, he say, she say about twin flames. The reason being is there is a mission. There is a mission for the twin flames, and a lot of times they're not necessarily aware of that. The key with this is not to try to spend all your time, all your energy thinking, how are you going to fix the twin flame counterpart? How are you going to help them to help you to see the mission? None of that stuff actually matters. The key with the twin flame dynamic, the twin flame mission, for starters, is it's all about using the pain, using the trigger points, using the things that create the love, and also counter opposite the tension within the relationship. Okay, they always are usually the same thing. What creates the love, what creates the addicting, oh my God, what is this? I've never felt something like this. It's the same thing that creates the painful trigger moments. Oh my God, I want to get further away from this person because this person makes these triggers happen. And the reality is like, it's just a mirror image of your soul. You are sharing that soul. That's the key to remember with the twin flame dynamic as we get into the mission of the twin flame. So before we do that, if any of this interested you so far, go ahead, hit me with the like, hit me with the subscribe, because I'm about to dive in. I'm gonna tell you again, hit me with the like, hit me with the subscribe, because this is my livelihood and this is what I want to do to creatively express myself and help you. Okay, that's how I want to do it. So twin flame mission. At first when I came across the twin flame dynamic, I didn't understand that there was a mission involved. All right, so I want to kind of debunk what is the mission about. For starters, the mission is about what you know, okay? But it may not be necessarily apparent to you. Second note, when it comes to this twin flame mission, part of the mission can be for you to just have those trigger moments to discover yourself. And you're not actually meant to be together in a romantic relationship, With the twin flame dynamic, understand it like this, like from an egotistical standpoint, maybe you want to date yourself, but what's really happening with the twin flame dynamic? It is a part of your soul. You are sharing the same soul space in two different human bodies, all right? This is why you trigger each other. Check any one of my other angel number 333s for the compatibility, or when you see those occurrences. What the fuck? Hey you, what's going on, my Gimbo? I wonder if it, whoa. I got a little video of this thing, cause that happened, but I'm back. You're not gonna get away from me. It's funny that I didn't really want to do this video. I really didn't, and it's actually been nagging me almost for like a month, 2 months, that I wanted to do a video about the twin flame dynamic, but I kept being like, nah, I don't want to talk about that, because here's part of it. And I'm gonna get back into the twin flame mission. Sorry, my equipment just said bleep. Recognize that whoever is going out on the limb to speak about a quote unquote twin flame dynamic, recognize that it's probably because they have one. So anyone that is courageous enough to go up there and speak about it, they also have in the back of their mind somewhere that, like, even if not today, even if not tomorrow, even if not next month, next year, like, my quote unquote twin flame is going to hear this. So really be kind, be patient. And I would say, if you're a viewer, you have a twin flame, honor the people that are doing these videos, the ones that you're watching and consuming, in order to help you through some of the struggles, help you through even experiencing more of that light that is so addicting. The reason that you are willing to make probably more sacrifices for yourself in order to connect with your twin flame. All right, let's get back to the mission. I think my second one I was saying is recognize that a twin flame dynamic doesn't guarantee that your romantic and love life is supposed to pop off. Sometimes the twin flame mission is for you to just be awakened by this person. Maybe it takes one awaken, the person runs, they chase, it takes another awaken, they run, they chase, take another race, and they run, they chase. Or maybe about a fourth one, it just did its purpose. The mission was fulfilled. It was satisfied. When I thought about this for myself, it began to take a lot of the pressure off, because trying to discover your twin flame mission, first off, that doesn't even says that both of you are trying to do that. Each one of you are guaranteed probably at a different level within your own spiritual journey. That's usually how it goes. One is going to naturally be more gifted spiritually, but maybe they struggle in the real world, the physical world, and maybe the opposite. One is naturally gifted in, this physical reality and being on time and organized, and others pretty much like struggling on the spiritual space. So, it is their reflection. All right. Never forget this. It is one soul sharing two different bodies. All right. And everything that triggers you is just that reflection. But again, you can go see the other videos I have about that. Just type in PernellBobby, type in twin flames, and you'll see some of that. Or maybe I'll attach them here. So let's get deeper into the mission. So the mission isn't something that you need to actually spend your time focusing on. When I came aware of it, which I wasn't at first, I started thinking myself, like, what would be the mission? I was like thinking of me, thinking of the twin flame connection, thinking about the counterpart, and was like, what's the mission? Because I don't know, it kind of like got me up at night. Now, part of that is because if you're familiar with anything within the natal readings, if you want a natal reading from me, myself, feel free to ask out. Right now, until February, bare minimum, it's all closed off because I have the retreat coming here in Medellin, Colombia, and then we fly right out. So it's like, it's too tight. I had to shut my calendar down. But within that, my Gemini placement is in Venus, all right? And it's in the 7th house. So it literally speaks for, like, when it comes to relationships, one-on-one relationships, especially when it comes to business contracts, when it comes to all things Libra, harmony and balance within love, within my love life, balanced relationships, they're going to always be a focus point. And then I start recognizing I got 2-3 other 7th house placements where it's just like, Pernell, look, like, relationships is your thing. And that's actually one that I had implemented within the natal readings, bringing couples together, more so not just couples, but spiritual unions, which is exactly what a twin flame relationship is about. And part of the mission, it is a union, it's a spiritual union. Now, that could be you and your human form coming together with your twin flame. That could be that. Or that could be you coming together for the purpose. And sometimes it's really important to recognize when the purpose was fulfilled. Now, that is something that only you're going to know. It's something only you're going to know. And sometimes, you know what? It was exactly that, and it was fulfilled. And that could be 3 months, 6 years. And then they come back because it's like, here's something new that needs to be fulfilled that you weren't getting from the various mirrors that have come into your life from other people. Okay? That's all another Gemini 7th house Venus type thing. It's like we learn relationships and how to navigate them for other people by also doing it for ourselves, like getting into a lot of relationships. Not necessarily always meaning sexual relationships, just meaning relationships. Okay, you have a relationship with your mom, get your mind out of the gutter. But it can be a little bit of that too, you know what I'm saying? It could be a little bit of that too. Hey. Twin flame mission. When it comes down to, here's the base principle. All right, here's how you find your twin flame mission. For starters, stop looking for your twin flame mission. Okay, that's the starters. Second, stop believing that there is a certain point that you need to get to in order to make your quote unquote spiritual union work. Your spiritual union will work when you work on yourself. That's the key behind every twin flame mission. Work on yourself. And it is not your job to work on the other half of your soul that is already doing it within itself. And until it does it for itself, the other soul, the other half of your soul, you're not really going to succeed. Because with a twin flame union and the mission, it really comes down to really being able to check our ego. I'm going to try to put the ego death video like right here. I have an ego death video, and you know when you're going through an ego death. In twin flame dynamics, twin flame missions, twin flame and the soul connection, the spiritual union, it is something that really excites and ignites an ego death over and over and over and over again. Okay? So this is something to really be mindful of. Don't focus on the ego portion of trying to satisfy your quote unquote human needs. Your soul has been here longer than you. It will be here after you, and it will use plenty of more bodies other than you, okay? So if I'm PernellBobby, it's gonna eventually, when I die, it's gonna hop into another body, all right? We need to really start thinking in terms of space and time not really being a variable, because once you get past 4D, fourth dimension, you're going 5D plus, all that stuff is non-existent. Your soul is ridiculously old. It has always been, it always will be, and it will continue to exist well beyond this little meat suit that has an ego that says, I want this love connection, I want it like this, I want it right now, and I deserve it today. It's like you don't even know what your karmic debt is even looking like and what you owe from your past life. So when you start working on yourself, you start really being able to navigate through some of that past karmic debt that is probably blocking you from that twin flame union, blocking you from understanding what your real mission is. Okay, I feel great. I didn't want to do this video, but I feel better. Why? Well, because this is a creative outlet for me. It's a creative channel, and I love to talk. And like I said, you know, one of the gifts that I had come through from this grand conjunction, which I can probably put that video through as well, was really coming down to relationships. It's what I'm good at. I'm super gifted. And I had this thought a while ago, somewhere in the middle of my actual twin flame connection, kind of on its spark, but it's really come through. It's like, look, this is what I do. And you know, I want to share this last piece because maybe I can tie something in. With the twin flame mission, recognize that the pains, the triggers, they are a map to your soul's blueprint. Your soul is telling you where to go, how to get there, but you have to listen. On the second note, when the twin flame mission is in stake, recognize that you don't need to work on anything individually, separately, or necessarily together. Now that sounds like a little bit like, what? Like you're always going to be working on yourself, but it's all soul work, okay? It's all soul work. It doesn't mean that you and your partner or your twin flame relationship, whether your partners or not, has to happen in the relationship, and it doesn't mean it has to happen outside of the relationship. If you were able to really tap into what your soul's blueprint, your soul DNA wants, and you follow that line, you can do that with your partner. I want to make that be known. You can do that with your partner. It doesn't mean that that road is going to be easy, and it could, quite frankly, just be more harsh. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, theoretically, probably it should be. But it doesn't mean that it's any easier to do it alone either, because when you guys are looking to come into union, spiritual union, even when that happens, there's always going to be new challenges. Even when you're together, that's never going to stop. And so I think the big thing with this is to respect within this dynamic that you don't really get to pick and choose how this story plays out. All right. The twin flame union, the mission that you all have is not as complicated as we look to make it to be. It's actually quite simple. And the toughest part is to remove the ego, let that thing die. Check out my ego of death video. Let that thing die, because there's only two. You got the voluntary and involuntary for your ego death. And the second is when you can start observing your ego, you can start seeing why these triggers exist and what they're telling you to do. Because that is the mission. The mission is to follow the triggers and recognize that the triggers, like I said a little bit earlier in this video, is also what is drawing you to that person, okay? This is something that's very important to realize. Like, the trigger is exactly what's drawing you to that person. Not so that you can only see your trigger, but because the opposite of that trigger is exactly what you're attracted to. It's exactly what you love about that person. But we oftentimes forget about what we love about that person because the triggers are just so much more dramatic. And they're so much more like in your face, like, handle me, deal with me. And you're like, I didn't even know you were here. And it's like, yeah, but I'm here, motherfucker. Yeah, it was aggressive, but it's cool. This is PernellBobby checking in. Here's my little analysis on the twin flame mission. If you're looking for a natal reading, you want to see how your natal chart can help you to unlock some of this. Really, it's helped me a lot for myself to be able to navigate through my own natal chart, because it started helping me recognize where and how these triggers showed up, and then who am I? Because the whole thing behind the twin flame mission is to discover who am I. discover who you are, and if you really wanted that union to come back, and that's if you want that union to come back, then working on yourself brings them back in. And it brings them back in without the chaser and the runner dynamic. You don't have to chase and run. You can put a stop to that now, especially because the fact that both of you are consciously aware of this, number one. Number two, the reason why no one has to put in a certain amount of work for you guys to work is because you are one soul sharing through two different bodies. But because you're one soul, anyone who is already, let's just say, spiritually inclined, that means that the other opposite, the counter opposite, is just as spiritually inclined. Whether they're awake enough to that or not is different. If one of you is more practical and grounded in reality, and the other one struggles with the grounding in reality, it means that the other has that as well, because you are one soul. One soul. Okay? And did I miss anything? Like and subscribe to my channel, because I would appreciate that, and I've really been rocking with y'all. Some of these INFP videos that I've been putting up, some of these twin flame videos seem to be what you guys like the most, and I've really been understanding that, like, using these some being scientific pieces of information, some being spiritual pieces of information, all of them being some version of truth, depending on how you want to perceive that, have been what's been hitting. And I really been learning that, like, relationships is like my thing. Like, I really love it, and I'm not going to let it hold me back anymore, that, like, I'm not in a relationship, meaning that I can't give relationship advice. Like, look, this is what I do, it's what I understand. I understand masculine and feminine energy without having somebody having to explain me the dictionary definition. It's just natural. Through my natal chart, it also shows me how much it's like, look, you're going to keep swinging back through this. It's going to be part of how you make money. It's going to be part of what you value. It's going to be part of so much. So thank you for checking in on my analysis of the twin flame and the mission. The easiest and the simplest answer is, the mission is to work on yourself from a soul level. Work on yourself from a soul level. Dive into who you are from a soul level. And then all of the human blockages, the human barriers, the judgment from others, whether it's your family or your friends, and all that stuff just goes out the window, because you're talking about something ancient. Your soul is the most ancient thing. It has always existed. There's never been a time when it has not existed. And when you can grasp that, you can start grasping that your human life is, quite frankly, insignificant in comparison. So why try to fight something as strong as that? It behooves me if why continue to try. I don't know, so I don't fight that. I just sit there and say, look, you don't want this person in my life right now. That's great. That doesn't mean you don't want this person in my life 6 months from now or ever again. It could be either or. And just being willing to accept that and have a deep trust in that will bring you exactly who you want in your life. And it may not be the person you're thinking about. This is the key that I need people to think about and really find a way to come to some sort of acceptance that, like, you're not destined, no matter what the situation, to be with your twin flame. Like, if you guys never decide to do that inner soul work and step into yourself, take that time to be quiet and look at what was meant to be shown to you when you had that twin flame dynamic going, then the mission all makes sense. Then the spiritual union becomes something that you're ready for. Then at that point, you're good, baby. You good. You good. Let me hold on. You good, baby. You good. You good. You good. Hey, I love you all. Thank you for checking in again. Like this, subscribe to this. Reach out for Natal Reading. My calendar will be in the description below, but it will also be blocked off at least until February. The retreat is the next big thing coming here in Medellin, Colombia. We got the next one coming up in a surprise location, and I got the third one already planned. So that's awesome, because I'm not that guy to be planning, but I'm going to do my best to follow through, and I want to thank you. Love. Oh, I just got a haircut. Super fire. Ciao. Do, re, mi, so. Do, re, so.